not like the trends a few years ago. Like I remember Miu Miu were doing these bags that were very structured with big crystals and completely different. Now it's very, yeah, like almost lived in, a little bit more cool girl. Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I'm Jess. Today I want to talk about Miu Miu bags that are on the recent Spring Summer 2026 Runway show. I really like some of the styles, and I don't know if I necessarily want to buy a Miu Miu bag myself. I feel like the prices these days of Miu Miu bags are crazy. I used to kind of see them as a bit lower than Prada, but now I feel like they're just as expensive. Maybe I'm wrong, but yeah, they're really expensive, but very cute. So let's go through it. Firstly, there's this little scoopy hobo kind of pochette bag. It could be a version of the Wanda bag. I know that on their website, they have a few like key styles that they like to push, like the Wanda, there's the Arcadie, the Beau bag, and there's the pocket bag as well. And this is similar to the Wanda, but it doesn't have any of their famous matelasse quilting in this really interesting burnt orange color. I think orange is totally coming back in fashion. And then this bag was also seen in a mustard color as well. And the thing about these bags, they kind of look a little bit worn in, almost like they're from a different era and they're passed down or they're thrifted or something like that. So they have this really lived in look that kind of makes you feel like you're not afraid to use it and really enjoy it as well. It has a bit more of a effortless laid back appeal. Then there was this little clutch bag with zips with a very interesting strap wristlet attachment with studs on it. This again is very, kind of looks like 70s vibe a little bit, something about the brown leather with the studding, and yeah, it's just a interesting little clutch there, so something you don't see all the time. The most interesting bag for me was the Beau bag that they had, and they were offering it in a, it kind of looks like a rattan chair, like a basket weave, and they had it in a few colors, this like mustardy brown color, and I think I saw it in black as well. But what's interesting is that I noticed at Dior as well, Jonathan Anderson is going to release some Dior bags with this same basket weave. So I don't know whether this is a trend. I know that the Lady Dior, it's a bit more linked to that basket weave because I believe that the Carnage pattern is based on the like a rattan chair. So I guess that kind of feeds into more Dior's DNA, but yeah, Miu Miu doing it as well. It does give a bit of a retro vibe, I suppose, and it's something that a bit more experimental with their Beau bag as well. I know that their Beau bag on the website, it's pretty expensive. It's like over $6,000, and they offer it in plain leather colors, these like really soft squishy leathers. They even have a distressed version, but I've also seen them in denim and corduroy, and even though they're in denim and corduroy, they're still really expensive. So now they're going to offer it in, yeah, this, I imagine this is going to be more expensive too, because I imagine to create that texture it's going to be quite hard. Maybe they have to cut out all the leather and that sort of thing, which is more expensive. So yeah, it does add an interesting kind of look to the outfit. I don't know what this bag is called, but it's a similar vibe to the Beau bag, but it's more of a dome shape. And again, they've done it in a basket weave in this gorgeous chocolate brown color. Really nice. And notice how squishy the bags are. They're really relaxed. Not like the trends a few years ago. Like I remember Miu Miu were doing these bags that were very structured with big crystals and completely different. Now it's very, yeah, like almost lived in, a little bit more cool girl, not as princessy. Interesting kind of contrast to what the direction their bags were going a few years ago. And a few years ago, they were actually not that popular. It's only the last 3 years or so that Miu Miu has become like a really, really hot brand. And I think it's because young people really like the fashion, the ready to wear, but also the bags look really wearable, and they are a little bit more classic, I would say. They don't have as much logo on them. They still say Miu Miu, but they're not as, like, you know, they don't have a lot of print. They're kind of these plain kind of neutral colors. They do have a little bit more of a, you know, things you could wear every day. You could fit your things inside a lot of these bags kind of thing. I quite like that one. Then there is this little tote bag with the little brown studded handle. Again, it's very a simple kind of design. But I think the leather looks quite nice in that kind of like a burnished look. It almost looks like the edges are in a darker color. I know at Coach as well, they're doing the burnished leather in like the Empire bag and that sort of thing. And I've noticed that a few brands are leaning into that look, that kind of more aged effect. But I don't know if Miu Miu quality is really amazing. I know with their ready to wear, it can be a little questionable. I have seen a few different content creators talk about Miu Miu quality is not as great, but I'm not sure if their bags are amazing quality. Let me know, guys, if you have a Miu Miu bag. Do you think that they're worth the money or at least good quality? Because, you know, when you're paying $5,000-$6,000, you would like it to be better than average. And what else is there? Oh yes, more of these little tote bags. So that tote bag also comes in a black with the studded handle. I don't know if that's going to be popular, to be honest. It's very simple. I actually have found that myself personally, I've been leaning towards just simple tote bags. That's why I've always liked like the Pico tin bag, because it's kind of just like a little shopper that you can grab and go. It doesn't have any crossbody straps or shoulder straps, but you can just grab it and go. Actually, I have another bag, this double sense tote, and I've been wearing this a lot too because you can kind of just grab and go. And I find this Miu Miu bag, I would also find it very practical, very lightweight, easy to style, that kind of thing. So yeah, I can see myself finding this quite usable. So I think that's also why they're being really popular, because their bags are actually quite easy to wear. One of the most interesting leathers on the runway was this really veiny kind of grained leather, and it looks to me like it could be a bull hide leather, because it's a really like thick grain, a really pronounced grain. And they had it in that dome-shaped bag. Again, I don't know what it's called, but it had the effect it had on the runway was this like very squishy, bulbous leather. And it really stood out to me because not a lot of brands are doing this really thick-grained leather. I know Burberry was kind of experimenting a little bit when Daniel Lee first came to Burberry, but the bags weren't very popular, to be honest. But yeah, I actually quite like the look of it. It looks, again, very rustic, heavy duty. I think it would be quite durable as well because of that grain. I know that the Miu Miu bags, that a lot of their styles have a lot of like pockets and cargo pocket elements. And this is another little top handle tote, but it's in suede and it features a few little pockets all over it. I know suede has been very trending the last few seasons as well. Even on the Hermes runway, they had suede Birkins. So you kind of see in similar trends across the board. This is another pocket tote, pocket messenger bag in suede. And again, Burberry was doing something like this, honestly, like 2 years ago, but it really wasn't popular. Maybe Daniel Lee was like ahead of the trend with that. I don't know. But Miu Miu is now introducing these messenger bags, which haven't been fashionable for quite some time. I remember, Pro and Schooler, they had this bag that was super popular. That was a messenger. That was hot at one point, and I remember at one point, I think it was like in the 2010s, even Cambridge satchel bags were really hot. And I actually predicted, guys, that messenger bags will definitely come back, and we're seeing it here. Even on the recent Chanel runway show, they had these little Chanel messenger bags. They were kind of based on like the older style. So yeah, this messenger look, it is kind of like come around in the trend cycle again. So it makes sense that they're kind of trying to introduce it again. And you know, that is more of a practical style. It can be worn crossbody, pouch bags in that same thick grained pillowy leather, in that very trendy orange color again. Yeah, and of course the Beau bag, they've got a few iterations of the east-west silhouette in that same basket weave in the beige and the black as well. These are a little bit more petite in silhouette. And there were a few other bags like this shopper bag with these elongated handles, and it had like a flap over it. So kind of like when you carry like a paper bag. And this was in a really thick grained red color, which was pretty cool, and they kind of wore it on the runway squished under their armpit. What do you reckon? I mean, I feel like these silhouettes, you can kind of get them from a few different brands, but if you're, you know, into buying the whole Miu Miu look, I know some of these outfits are a bit questionable, but the bags, yeah, I can see them being very wearable, and even things that don't necessarily go out of fashion, they actually look quite practical. But it just depends on how the quality is. If the quality is good, then I think could be worth considering. But if not, then I mean, as I said, there's a lot of other brands that do these kind of shapes. So let me know what you think of some of these latest Miu Miu bags. And thanks for watching my blurby video today. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll talk to you really soon. Bye!